刻むぜ! I'm on the beat!
Welcome back to another JoJo chapter review. This time we're taking a look at Chapter 12 of the JoJOLands, titled His Name is Charmingman. We finally reached 12 chapters for Part 9, although the 1-year anniversary for the part has already passed since we had a month break earlier. However, this does still feel like a major milestone, and coincidentally, this chapter also seems to be drawing us to the end of the first little story arc. Last time we were completely focused on the fight with the owner of the lava rock and his really interesting illusion-based stand, with the chapter ending with Paco suggesting they let him join their team. With this chapter, we open with some narration describing one of Hawaii's volcanoes. It says that the volcano is still active but hasn't erupted since 1801, and that there are no rivers that flow on the island. We see the owner of the lava rock and his brother, a man named Makua, riding bikes near the volcano. However, Makua mysteriously disappears, leaving his bike and shoe behind. He hears trickling water and looks down to see his brother being washed away inside a lava tube. We jump forward to the characters at an airport with the owner of the lava rock already with them. Him and Jodio sit there awkwardly until he asks what kind of music he's been listening to lately. He says that he likes Sia, Her, and SZA. Jodio says that they're all 3-letter names, with the owner saying that he always gets them mixed up. Paco butts in and brings up that they have a lot more important questions for him. He introduces himself as Charmingman, which the others find to be a really strange name. This whole scene is one of the funniest we've gotten so far, and I really love the way it was implemented here. When the last time we saw this guy was him and Jodio fighting to the death underwater and then just cutting to them chilling in the airport talking about music. His name seems to be a reference to the song This Charming Man by the Smiths. The opening lyrics of the song are "Punctured bicycle on a hillside desolate," which seems to line up with his backstory. Charmingman says that he found the lava rock when water mysteriously welled up to the surface near the volcano, with the rock flowing out of one of the lava tubes. He says that Rohan isn't his enemy and found the rocks by chance and started investigating them. Meanwhile, Dragona and Usagi meet a salesman who sells them the luxury watch for cheap. Last time I wondered what kind of path the watch was taking before by being swallowed by a fish, but it seems like that was just one step in a long series of events to get it here. They decide to bring Charmingman with them to Oahu. He tells Jodio that if they plan to make themselves rich with the lava rock, that it isn't going to happen, and that he'll understand that once each of them drops out. We go back to the flashback with the authorities investigating Makua's disappearance. They doubt his story about there being water on the island and mention that he has a criminal record for injuring an officer. Apparently what happened is that he was in a traffic stop, and when the cop grabbed his arm, his coarse skin scraped his hand. He says that he was born with the coarse sandy skin that was mentioned by Paco before. Whether this rules out him being a rock human though is uncertain. One thing people have brought up is the fact that he has a brother, and with the way rock humans are raised, that may rule him out. I don't know if that's necessarily the case though, since we did see some twin rock humans. Although I guess they would have been put in the hive together. It's possible that Makua isn't related to him by blood and that Charmingman was adopted by humans. Or that his story just doesn't align with the typical rock human backstory. Of course, there's also the possibility of him just being human, and his coarse skin just being a side effect of his natural stand power. But we still need to wait and learn more. The authorities shift the blame to Charmingman and avoid doing their job, asking him for a bribe instead. He says that his brother never turned up again and that there hasn't been any more water in the area either. Our attention is called to the lava tubes, which seem to be the source of Makua's disappearance and the water. I'm not the first person to mention the visual similarities between these holes and the appearance of the walleyes in Part 8, and I think this is definitely intentional and that they're both related phenomena. Part 8 told us about the idea of blessings from the earth, things like the walleyes and devil's palms which rock humans are drawn to and that grant the power of stands. For these lava tubes, I think these are the source of the mechanism of the lava rock, and mechanisms have also been implied to be related to stands. I'm guessing here, but the fact that no water appeared in this area for a long time and then suddenly flowed through the tube indicates that this has a similar power to the rock. While the rock attracts wealth to itself, maybe the tubes attracted water since the area was lacking it. Charmingman watches Rohan throwing money around to watch where it accumulates and locate the lava rocks. He wonders what the connection might be to his missing brother. We jump forward again with the team delivering the diamond to Meryl May, and she congratulates them on stealing some other valuable things as well. They all receive their shares, and Meryl stores the diamond in a safe. Meryl says that she has contacts all over the state, but that despite this, she never got any word that there was a robbery, meaning the police were never called like Rohan promised. She says they're hiding something from her and they should tell her what went on. Dragona says it's a long story and points out that due to the lava rock, the diamond moved from the safe to Meryl's hands. The chapter ends with them telling her about Charmingman and her having an idea. Once again, this was a really good chapter. As I suspected, as soon as the fight came to a close, we got a very eventful chapter where a lot of story progress happened and we actually learned a lot this month. We finally know the name of the enemy stand user and now understand a lot of his story. He's definitely still suspicious with his cryptic line to Jodio earlier, but we know that he's not all bad with what Paco said earlier and his backstory being sympathetic. We also got some more information on the origin of the lava rock, which helps us draw some conclusions about its power and the mechanisms in general. And once again, we end off with something completely new about to be introduced. If I have to guess, Meryl will give the team a new job involving the power of the lava rock. However, if Charmingman is to be believed, that's definitely going to go wrong in some way. In other JoJo news, the Phantom Blood stage musical finally debuted in Japan. There was a bit of a controversy with the first two showings being cancelled and people getting mad about not being refunded. However, an update was posted apologizing and says that they'll be refunding the tickets as well as transportation and accommodations for days of the show. As for the show itself, it was received positively, so I'm really hoping we get to see a home release of it sometime in the future. We've also gotten word that Cool Shock BT will be getting a new reboot one-shot in March. We recently got the second chapter of Cool Shock Old BT, a distant sequel to the main series that started a couple years ago. Unlike that though, this one-shot's writer and illustrator aren't already known like Nisio Isin and Posaka Tamizu are. I'm really looking forward to seeing if they can capture the essence of BT, since it's a story that really embodies Araki and his style of writing at that time. If you want to be updated on new videos, make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell. To be notified on upcoming chapters and any important JoJo news, you can also join the Hum and Beat Discord using the link in the description. Finally, I'd appreciate if you help support the channel on Patreon. There you'll receive Discord perks, and you can submit patron questions. I answer questions at the end of my main videos, so feel free to join at any tier and leave as many questions as you want, either on the patron chat on the mobile app, or by DMing it to me directly. Thank you for watching. This is the part of the video where I thank my $5 and up patrons. Thank you to Sloth Dog, Doorbell, Crayon, Rigovids, Zucato, Pumpkin Doge, Marrow, Almighty Quarth, Gatlin Grove, Lime Jinjo, Sponge Cake, Cakext, Feliciano Rabaja, Rayana Meme, Christian McDonough, Emmanuel Etienne, Pulse Dog, Great Riek, Carmotrina, Adam Grogan, Zach Greenfield, FIFO, Rob Goliath, Jacob Smith, Professor Foosball, Ryan Ramirez, Big T, C Manga, Minty, Gold, Red Hot Mayonnaise, Nutrocker, Darko, and Jolene.